Welcome back. Halftime of the Huskers matchup today against the Spartans here in East Lansing. And as we do every week, a chance to sit down with the president of the University of Nebraska, Ted Carter. Now, I know you were raised in a rural town in Rhode Island, so you have a personal connection to rural communities. Can you talk about why it's important for the university to support rural health across our state?
Well, it is interesting, the similarities between the very rural part of Rhode Island where I grew up. When I look across Nebraska, 93 counties, Cherry County is bigger than the entire state of Rhode Island, but the problems are still kind of the same. Nebraska needs to have doctors and nurses and dentists across the whole state. It's definitely the top of mind. We're facing a critical shortage of healthcare professionals across the entire state. Today, a quarter of primary care physicians in Nebraska are more than 60 years old and nearing retirement. And there are 17 counties in the state without a primary care physician or a pharmacist. So when it comes to healthcare professionals, our medical center at Omaha trains over half the doctors, dentists, and nurses in the state, but we definitely need to graduate more.
Well, you have with you a special guest today who knows a thing or two about serving communities in rural Nebraska and who's working hard to help support healthcare needs in those communities. I'll let you introduce our guest.
Yeah, Greg, we're very fortunate to be joined by University of Nebraska at Kearney Chancellor Doug Kristensen. He's joining us here to tell our fans a little bit more about the Med Center's exciting work at our Kearney campus. Chancellor Kristensen has served UNK as the chancellor since 2002. So let me do the math on that. That's 21 years, over 2/3 of the entire life of University of Nebraska at Kearney as a university system campus. But his career as a servant leader stretches back even further. So before UNK, Doug represented Nebraska's 37th legislative district in the Nebraska legislature from 1988 to 2002. In fact, at the time he retired from public office, he was the longest-serving Speaker of the Nebraska legislature. Now, during his tenure as UNK's leader, he has overseen dramatic changes on the Kearney campus, from the construction of new academic buildings and residence halls to athletic facilities and a transformational new rural health education building that's going to make an enormous impact on our state when it opens in late 2025.
Well, Chancellor, great to see you. Welcome to joining us here at halftime. Nebraskans did get some exciting news earlier this fall with the groundbreaking of UNK's rural health education building. What can you tell our audience about this project and the impact it's going to have?
Well, thank you, Greg, and very glad to be here. We couldn't be more excited about the Rural Health Education Building project, and we're thrilled to be the home for a project that's really going to transform the lives of many Nebraskans for generations, particularly rural Nebraskans. And the Rural Health Education Building is part of a successful partnership that we have, UNK, with the University of Nebraska Medical Center, and it goes back to 2015. We opened a $19 million health science education complex on our campus that had more than 300 students pursuing professional degree programs in healthcare related fields. That was wildly successful. It filled up very quickly. Good experience for the Med Center, great experience for our undergraduates. This new rural health education building is going to allow UNMC to expand their existing allied health and nursing programs in Kearney, but it's going to allow them to launch all new programs with future physicians. It's going to go in and talk to pharmacists, public health, mental health professionals. It's going to cover all the disciplines of the Med Center and put it into rural Nebraska. And so this facility won't just make an impact in terms of education for our students. It's going to be transformational for all of our rural communities in the state. It's part of what the survival of rural Nebraska is all about. Nebraska is really facing a critical shortage of medical professionals across the entire state. The good news is we're working to combat that shortage, and our efforts, I think, are paying off. So if you just look at the Kearney campus and those people in the health science education complex right now, 85% of those students who graduate from those healthcare programs in Kearney go on to start their careers in rural Nebraska. So this new rural health education building is going to help us with even more of those students get out in the communities, do the skills, gain the expertise that they need, and they're really going to serve what the true needs of rural Nebraska are.
Fantastic. Chancellor, thank you so much for joining us today. It's great to hear about all the wonderful things that are going on at UNK and UNMC, as the president said as well. Any final thoughts, President Carter, for you for Husker Nation?
Well, I just want to say thank you to so many people that have given to the Rural Health Education Building, wonderful philanthropy out there to support this. And I also want to say a big shout out to our faculty and staff who are just doing an amazing job. And of course, our chancellors. I'm really proud to work with Chancellor Doug Kristensen and all of our chancellors. We got a great team here.
Fantastic. Good to see you both. We'll have more halftime from East Lansing coming up next.